Imagine Christmas morning with the joy of your children opening presents, and what you see is blood on the deck or strewn flesh. These are the types of things that can happen to our veterans and our officers in those moments. Um, and you may be silent and you may seem distant to your family as you wash that away and shake it off to come back to the moment of the joy and to engage with your family. My name is Carroll Harris. I'm a postal inspector in Los Angeles, and I've been in the government for 34 years. I spent 30 years in the Marine Corps Reserve with over 10 years of active duty to include mobilizations for our wars. And I've been a federal agent about 20 years. I spent time as a Drug Enforcement Administration special agent in the Midwest and have been a postal inspector since my transition back in 2008. I've served all over the country. I have a great sense of reverence and respect for anyone who's taken an oath and I believe signed a blank check with their life to put themselves into difficult circumstances to stop bad people from doing bad things to the innocent and the vulnerable in our society. And having been involved in operations over these 3 decades and seeing the good things that are done by our law enforcement and our veteran community, I've also seen the impact and the burden that those communities have felt. I've seen the impacts on their family. I've had some personal experiences within my own family where there's some struggles in my family. And my wife and I were very fortunate. We have 3 sons, and one of them was struggling with some suicidal ideations. And that really rocked our world on a personal level. It's one thing when it's in a professional level, it's another when it's in a personal level. And it's had me thinking and what can we do and how can we help our child? And we're navigating that together as a family. One of the things I've learned is that we're not alone, and my son's not alone. And as I have shared that struggle with some of my work partners back in Los Angeles, I was surprised through that disclosure to learn that in the small circle of the team that I worked directly with, that there were numerous people with similar issues that came forward after I shared what my family and I were going through. And I was so thankful that I had done that disclosure and learned about what the others have gone through. And I found comfort and knowledge and support through that disclosure. And I've been motivated to learn more over the past year, and that's what I've been doing. And with that, I want to remove stigma from needing help or seeking help. And I want people to be able to tell their stories and to know they can come out and that it's okay to be human and it's okay to have a need. It's okay to reach out and ask for help. That was part of my motivation in taking the training here with Struggle Well, to learn more, to develop those bonds, to better position myself as an individual, as a husband, as a father, as a leader in a law enforcement community, just as a citizen. And I feel good about the training. I feel good about what I'm hearing from my peers that have similar motivations to me. You know, it's amazing because I feel like so many of us walk in silence in society, and yet those needs are there. And I think we're trending in a good direction where people can speak openly and they can get help and access to resources, and we can avoid issues by doing that. But I also think we have a ways to go.
So you've been in law enforcement and military over 20 years, and you've seen a lot. You've probably seen some combat. You have seen both in war and in the field, right? In the line of service.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about your struggle. Like, how are you dealing with what you see? And is there an incident that most sticks out in your mind that it really bothers you? That maybe you could talk about a little bit and how you dealt with this, overcoming the struggle.
I do feel like my experience is that I am better off for having been through those experiences because they've been fuel for a sense of gratitude you could only get by going through something like that. Because it's just, you feel lucky to be alive if you have seen some of those things when you're in an environment where people are actively trying to kill you. that's a reflection point for me as far as whenever I'm having a bad day or a struggle as a person or as a leader or in any role or hat I may wear in my daily life, is on occasion I will pivot back to that, and I will know that, hey, I've made it through this. I can make it through anything if I can just. And I like to use the terms. I call it PBC. I like to make sure I'm going to take a pause, take a breath, and then connect with someone if I need to. I call it pause, breathe, connect. If I'm feeling pressure, if I'm having a rough time, I need to take a pause. I need to take a breath, and I need to connect. And we all have our close friends. In the training for struggle well, they refer to a 3 to 5. You need to contact somebody that's in that close and trusted circle on occasion. Great sounding board, great point of reflection, great point of encouragement, or just someone to listen, because that can be cathartic, just having someone hear that you're going through something or knowing someone that's been through something similar. So those are my personal practices that help me as an individual, and I try to make sure that I can be that helper for other people. That's a driver motivation for me. Having been through some things, I want to be able to help others as they face them.
You talk about walking in silence. Makes a great deal of sense. You mentioned, as does everybody in every of our podcasts, that stigma. And it's a shame that there's a stigma behind it, but the stigma there, and you touch upon, we are not alone. And that's incredibly strong, because I think those that do suffer silently feel that they are. And so the extra set of eyes and ears from those going through struggle well or other similar type courses has to go a long way in aiding somebody and getting them back on track. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel so fortunate to be a person that's in the law enforcement community and the veteran community, because when you can make those connections and you can find people that have had similar experiences, that sense of bond and camaraderie is a foundation that can sustain you. And it's incredibly important to have that. And sometimes our peers in the law enforcement or veteran community can get separated from that sense of connection and separated from that foundation, that call to service that we all felt when we took that oath and we came in and we signed up and we said, put me through the breach, I'm willing to go. And to renew that, to encourage people to be open if they're struggling, to reach out to their brother and sister is something I feel called to do. And Struggle Well enforces that. And they provide a framework and common language that I think that can be expanded on. And I'm hoping, as I'm learning here and in the studies I've had over the past year, that we can expand this language, remove stigma, and create some normalcy around what I believe are perfectly normal needs. It's okay to be down if you have been through something traumatic. That's a natural response. And it doesn't mean you're less of an officer, less of a special agent, less of a Marine or soldier. It means you're human. And it's okay to pause, breathe, and connect with your trusted resource or your 3 to 5. But it needs reaffirmation from the top down.
I know of a police department that works on it in Dallas that has that. An officer that within 72 hours, they check up on an officer, whether it was a shooting, whether it was a death call, something as far as a bad automobile accident.
You know, like I say, I've been in the government for 34 years and I'm on the tail end years of my time serving. But now I'm in a position of authority and a highly visible position leading the Los Angeles division of the inspection service. And in that position, I feel a calling to make sure that I set a proper tone around how we help each other, how we help the community, how we watch out for each other from the top on down. I'm a human. I may stumble, I may falter, but I'll get back up and I'll do it with your help. And it's okay if you stumble too. We'll pick you up. That's the message I'm trying to send. I don't think there should be any stigma associated with, hey, if you need help, you get help. And you need to have good practices. We work on our bodies every day. We need to work on our minds. We need to have healthy mental practices as well as healthy physical practices. It all connects. And I know we have ground to gain there, but I think through programs like Struggle Well and others that are out there, we can put voice to it. We can explore it. We can bake it in. We can rip away the stigma. And as other leaders like like what you're doing with your podcast and in other roles across the country, I think we can do good together through this.
Spot on, by the way. I like to take a little closer introspective look, right? A little deeper look into what people that are in the front line go through, right? Whatever the threat is, whether it's rounds, artillery, what have you, or even on the street, you have an ongoing threat and you're going into the harm's way and you're not feeling it at that moment. But when you're past it, the incident, when you're beyond the incident, and you're sitting down and you're reflecting and you're looking around, can you explain to the public how you feel? What is that decompression period? And does it go away?
Sure. So, I mean, everybody's experience is different, and I feel fortunate that I've had, I believe, good social connection and support networks through my family, through my friends, through my coworkers as well. But even then, it's not uncommon if you've been through these traumatic events to have those memories visit you and follow you in inopportune times. Imagine Christmas morning with the joy of your children opening presents, and what you see is blood on the deck or strewn flesh. These are the types of things that can happen to our veterans and our officers in those moments. And you may be silent and you may seem distant to your family as you wash that away and shake it off to come back to the moment of the joy and to engage with your family. And it doesn't mean that you're worse off for having been through it. You can be better off for it. You can turn that into gratitude and fuel for a resiliency rocket to go forward and make sure you're serving powerfully and helping people, as well as helping your family, helping yourself, and helping others. But some struggle with it because you're not going to forget these things. They'll be with you. But it doesn't have to be a scar that doesn't make you stronger. That scar can heal, and you can be stronger for it and more beautiful of a person for it if you channel it. And that's something you got to renew every day. It's not a, hey, you're done. It's not like you could do a struggle well course. You get a little bit of framework and you're set for life. No. Every day you get up, your feet hit the deck. The devil himself says, oh no, what good is he going to do? And you're going to grind through it. And maybe it's an easy day, maybe it's a hard day, but either way you grind.
Sitting here and listening, I'm learning as well. It's helpful just listening. You know, we're putting on the podcast, and yet I'm gaining something from it. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's important. And I thank you for that.
I have numerous friends who have been lost in the struggle. Some of them applied a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I don't want that to happen to anyone else. In uniform, out of uniform, anywhere.
100%, brother. 100%. Thank you for that recognition. Thank you for that. David?
That's wraps it all up. Yeah, that's real. And you just said it, a permanent solution to a temporary problem. That strikes home. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this can help that.
Yeah, no doubt.